It's been over a year since we've had anything from Marvel Studios, and how is its epic return? It's okay. Hello everyone and welcome to Flickering Myth. My name is EJ Marino and I'm going to be reviewing the first 3 episodes of a brand new Disney Plus Marvel show. There's going to be no spoilers in this, so join me as I talk about WandaVision. 2020 was quite the interesting year, not only because of the craziness in the world, but it's one of the first years in quite a long time that we've had nothing from Marvel Studios. Now, in 2021, we're kicking the year off with a brand new show called WandaVision. I am really intrigued and excited to dive into this show because there is a lot to talk about, from what it's going to mean for the MCU to what it is as a TV show on its own. There is so much to dive into. It's also hard to not get into spoilers because I want to talk about so much from this, so I am going to avoid spoilers as best as I can, but I will also say the show is a little hard to spoil because I don't even know what's going on. 3 episodes into the show and I have no answers. You could just ask me anything in the comments and I could be like, I don't know, they haven't explained it yet. It's quite an interesting and intriguing show. It's a lot to handle. It's also something completely different from the MCU. You can see that they're trying to give themselves a makeover, trying to reinvent the brand with a TV show like WandaVision. There's nothing like this in the MCU ever before, where we've had more action-heavy stuff, where we've had dramatic films, where we've had comedies. This is none of that. This is a situation comedy, a sitcom you would see ranging from things from the 50s to all the way nowadays with stuff like, I don't know, even the Big Bang Theory. So there's a lot in this show to dive into, and what makes it so fresh, so interesting, I just kind of wish I liked the first 3 episodes a little bit more. For any die-hard Marvel fan, it's pretty easy to explain who Wanda and Vision are, but for any newcomers, Wanda is Scarlet Witch. She is this powerful character in the Marvel movies. You may know her from Endgame when she told Thanos he took everything from her and she whooped that butt. Vision was also her love interest, who we saw get tragically killed in Infinity War. Now they're both back somehow, some way, in this weird 1950s, 1960s, 1970s. We go through the decades on this show, but they're in this very nice little subdivision area, a little home, a little community. They're trying to build a life there, but something is off. Something is wrong. Something is completely weird and mysterious. Not only because, we have a robot and a witch lady living in, a sitcom, but there's just an underlining of, what is going on? You feel that there's something manipulating everyone. There is some certain maybe a corporation or a business that we may see who could be involved in this. There is not a lot of answers for me to give you guys. These first 3 episodes are pretty, they set up everything, but they're still pretty mysterious. It's still trying to bait us in to see how we're gonna feel, to see what of our thoughts, and it's hard for me to review it because I liked these first 3 episodes, but I wasn't blown away. I was a little kind of let down because I was just like, well, these are fine, but I was expecting from that first episode to be sucked in completely. And I will say I'm not the biggest Marvel fan, so that could be an issue here, but also that first episode really relies on the gimmick of that 1950s motif. It feels like a episode of something like Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie, just straight up like that, from the effects to the acting to the laugh tracks. It's all there. Then the second episode gives us a little bit more of what's going on. We start seeing the cracks in the foundation, and then by episode 3, we're really jumping into the story, and that's where they left us off with these press review screeners. They only gave us the 3 episodes, and episode 3 really picks up the action, but it also loses the gimmick a little bit more. That's something I'm a little bit torn on. This show has a lot of fun gimmick to it, where it's homaging all these old sitcoms. There's a little Bewitched, a little I Love Lucy, Leave It to Beaver, then we go to the Wonder Years, we go to Full House. We start evolving as the show goes, and I like the gimmick, but at the same time, I'm not getting a lot of plot or story or a lot of elements. It's just a lot of fun setting up, and let's get into some hijinks and let's go from there. Then by episode 3, we start getting a lot of plot, but we drop the fun gimmick. I don't really get the 70s, 60s vibe with the episode as much. Other than the costumes, it wasn't as truthful to the source material as something like the 50s and 60s episodes were. So I am torn. I'm like, okay, I want more plot, but I also like the gimmick. Find the perfect balance. Hopefully the next episodes going forward find that balance pretty well. When we start unraveling the mystery, when we start figuring out more and more, that's when I'm going to be really intrigued. But as of right now, I think the show is just okay. I will say what really intrigues me about the show and what keeps me hooked for each episode is the fantastic acting. Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, we know she's a badass, we know she's awesome, but she's getting to play a more layered version of her character here. She seems to know more than what she's letting on, but there's something so good about her character. I love Elizabeth Olsen in this role. I love her character. I love what she's doing. And Paul Bettany as Vision, I'm having such a good time with him. He's so light and fun and having an interesting vibe to him. I liked what they were doing with him in the MCU movies, but here he's starting to feel like his very own character. I'm starting to understand and get him a little bit more. I can't wait till we get deeper into the show so we can figure out how he came back. What is all this tea? Like, I need tea to be spilled soon because I'm just getting enough of these characters that it's whetting my appetite, so they're doing really good there. But yes, this acting is just so impressive from these two. It's they understand the reference points of the shows that they're talking about, but they're still delivering their own charm that we fell in love with. There's moments in that first episode where I was just like, holy hell, Paul Bettany was made for these old style shows. He gets the comedic timing. He gets the kind of the turn to camera, the cheeky grin. He understands that so well. But it's not just these two that make the show well. There's a lot of stuff going on that I'm just like, oh my goodness. I will say Kathryn Hahn as Agnes. She's the next door neighbor. Oh my goodness. There is something about her acting that I just think she's a great comedic actress. She understands timing and the comedy, just the right amount of tone that we need. But there's something underneath her performance. There's layers to this that I'm like, is she the big bad of this show? Is she the evil that's manipulating all of this? Or is she just another victim to the weirdness that's going on? Did someone stuck her into the simulation, if you will, to maybe see if she's the test dummy? I don't know what's going on with her character, but I'm liking it and I'm intrigued and I want to watch more and more. There's just so much here. There's another character who I don't want to spoil too much, but she's seeming to be the most, what's going on? And she even calls Wanda out on something in episode 3 where she's just like, so let's talk about your past. I'm remembering more than maybe I should. And things get a little wonky from there. So yes, there is just a lot to love with these characters. If you're going to like anything from WandaVision, it's the acting. It is so good. It's intriguing. They understand what they need. They get the tone. They're having fun. That's all I want. I wish the plot and the story were a little bit better, but the acting is what's keeping me there. Now, I said no spoilers, but I will give you guys a little bit more interesting details. There's these commercials in each episode. I've only seen 3 of them, but there's so many details. They're a commercial promoting something usually in line with what the show's about or referencing that time period, but there's big Marvel Easter eggs in each one of them. There's maybe references to an evil organization or a big company that we know from the MCU. I personally love them. They are what I get interested in each episode. I'm just like, what's going to be the commercial this time? It's something really good. I can't wait to see how they tie in to the greater story, but right now I think those are one of the highlights. There's also some references to straight up MCU stuff. There's characters mentioned here that I didn't think that they would mention. There was just a lot here that I'm like, oh, and most of this happens in episode 3 when we really see the cracks start to crumble in this insanity. But yes, I cannot wait till you guys see it, especially you big diehard Marvel fans. You guys are gonna catch stuff that I don't even notice because I only casually like them. So I'm just cannot wait for you guys to see it and you guys be like, you missed this and this. There's so much. There is just so much Easter eggs that I know that are here, and there's so much mystery that I cannot wait for everyone to get into it so we can see all the craziness and everyone can understand why this show is good but could be better, but still feels like a lot lot for MCU fans. Alright everyone, that is it for my review of the first 3 episodes of WandaVision. I like the show, I'm intrigued, but I just needed more. Maybe if they would have sent me one more episode, I could give you guys a more solid review. I'm torn in between me liking it, me loving it, and or just being okay on it. If I had one more episode, I bet you I could give you my straight up feelings, but for right now, I would suggest you guys check this out when this drops on Friday, and they're going to be doing, I think, 1 episode a week after that. I think first 2 come out on Friday, then the 3rd one comes out next Friday. So definitely check this out if you are interested in the MCU, if you're intrigued in WandaVision stuff, or if you know that you are going to be so confused when we get to Doctor Strange and Spider-Man if you missed this. Alright guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe to Flickering Myth because we make videos like this every single week, and give us a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Alright guys, let's talk about WandaVision down below.